Hey everybody, how you doing, you late night crawlers and insomniacs out there? It's your man James, Mr. Sequential Treasures, back again with some more live stream action for you. This one is completely impromptu. I have nothing planned. You saw there's no musical intro or anything special like that. I just, it's a hot one tonight, and it's going to be that way for the next several days. And so the dog days of summer are upon us, and it's making it a little hard for your boy to sleep, of course, because that heat. It's not even the heat. They say it's always the humidity, and you probably hear my AC running like crazy. I'm trying so hard to keep things cool, but Mother Nature, she ain't no joke. So I figured, since I can't sleep anyway, why not have a little fun? Why not do an impromptu live stream and give people some entertainment late in the night? So this is not my usual shtick. You guys know I usually do this stuff a lot earlier than this, but it is what it is. Thank you for all you who joined me tonight. Hopefully somebody will join me. It would feel really silly to do a live stream and nobody shows. Although I've done that before, so I can't even say that would be a first for me. But so I thought what I'd do, just to kill some time and maybe try to help get myself sleepy, I'd go through some more stuff with SummerCon with you guys, because you saw my booty haul, you saw my pre-game show, you saw the video my brother's wife created. So I've given you lots of stuff about the show. But one thing you didn't see is, well, what did my wife pick up? Because you saw what I got, but you didn't see what she got. And I figured, well, hey, that could be interesting. Maybe people would like to see what she got at the show. And so I got her stuff here with me, and we're just going to go through it. We'll go through from the bad to the good. We'll do it that way. Because some of the stuff she chose, well, I wouldn't have chosen it. You probably wouldn't have chosen it, but yet she did. So that's what we're going to do. And so we'll just get it started right here. And here we go. My good friend Leg Kick, who is almost always here. Hello, my friend. Glad you could make it. I see you're another late night insomniac right now because of the heat, I guess. Just like me. Yes. Yes, I did. Yes, I did. He's referring to a text he sent me concerning who created the Spider-Man spaghetti webbing. And it's usually attributed to Todd McFarlane, but it actually was Michael Golden, who had done it for a Marvel portfolio of some kind. That was the first time we saw spaghetti webbing, although McFarlane did modify it a little bit from what Golden had done. But technically, the very first time we see spaghetti Spider-Man webbing is in this Marvel team-up portfolio that Michael Golden worked on. And so, yes, I got that, my friend. So you were correct that he did it, but you were incorrect when you told me it was in Marvel Fanfare #1, because it was not in there. I know because I own it and I checked. I'm like, I didn't even see him shoot any webs in this issue. So, but yeah, so let's just get on into this. This is my wife's stash. This is what she chose. So keep in mind, this is a female's perspective. This is not me. This is not what I would have chose. But that's how it is. And so she got last year. I should tell you this. Preface this with this. Last year, I helped her find all the Peter David Hulk run of his time with the Pantheon, which is her favorite run of the Hulk, was Peter David's run when the Hulk was in the Pantheon. And we went through all the show last year, and I don't know how we did it. We tracked down every single issue of that run. And so she now has the Pantheon run of the Hulk. This year, her big one that she had two that she was going for. And we're going to see the first one right here. It's the Chuck Austin run of Uncanny X-Men from circa 2002 to 2005, the early aughts. And when you think great X-Men stories, you're not thinking the Chuck Austin run. Most people don't. They just don't see that as a great run. Now, I'll grant you this: compared to what they're cranking out today, the stuff probably is reading like Claremont and Byrne as far as that goes. But that falls under the heading, I think, of damning with faint praise. So it's just. What do you think of McFarlane's DC superpowers that have been released? Is that action figures? Yeah, some of them look pretty cool. I think some look pretty good, but it's nothing I'm gonna be dropping my money on. I'm kind of out of the whole I got to buy every type of thing they make for something anymore. I just kind of go with stuff I liked or like and just stick with that. The comics, the art, and just kind of stay in my lane. Trying to collect too many different things is just it's a lot of work and a lot of money, which is which is always the bigger problem of the two. But here we are. We're going to get into my wife's picks, and here it is. We're just going to roll through these. Here we are, the classic Chuck Austin run from Uncanny X-Men. Something you're going to notice about most of these covers is that they don't really represent anything specific of the issue. You know, like, you remember covers when they kind of showed you, gave you some idea what to expect on the inside of the book? You're not going to get that here. Most of the Chuck Austin run is just, oh, look, here's a character on the cover. Here you go. I mean, this is also where I think they started to get into some of that that manga stuff, because you can like really see it with this Juggernaut cover. You know, it's got like that manga touch. You know, you can really see it here. I mean, you know, like look at the faces here, like on Iceman. They're really going that manga route on the covers, which I also think didn't really help very well with the series. You know, being very popular, going with that manga style. I mean, you know, people know about Joe Mad's run and how great that was, and you know, maybe it was, but you know, he still had some fundamentals that were classic comic books, like what you expect in superhero work. But you know, this stuff here is just, it's all very manga-esque, and it's very, you know, just like, I don't know, I guess very flat. I mean, you know, you don't really get anything out of these cover images. You know, I mean, I'm not really seeing anything that makes me want to pick up the book. It's like, here's Angel flying at you. You know, here's Nightcrawler looking kind of, I guess, creepy or whatever. You know, you know, here's Quicksilver running fast. I mean, you know, it doesn't make me go, hey, I got to pick that book up. So, you know, just, I mean, again, I'm not knocking the art. It's you know, I mean, I guess as far as like a manga style, it's not too bad, but it just really doesn't, you know, do anything for me. And I think I'm not the only one who feels that way, considering the run was never very much heralded. And you know, the fact that it went on, as you can see here, for so long. I mean, it's almost amazing. You know, oh my God, here you go. Here's one that might actually kind of give you a little taste of the story. You know, Juggernaut trashing a city. Well, I mean, you could see that happening. So, wow, a cover that actually kind of reflects the story. Amazing. And the wife is here with me, and I hope you didn't, because if you did, you really got shortchanged. Yeah, you know, I mean, and, you know, back in the day, like in the '80s, once in a while you'd see a pin-up-y type cover, and that's fine once in a while, because you know, it breaks, you know, it breaks the monotony of just, you know, here's what the story's about all the time. You know, here's a really cool image. That's fine once in a while, but when you do it like every issue, you know, it beats it into the ground. You just get bored with it so much. So again, just here's the team. I mean, this one looks like it should be like a album cover for a rock band or something, some prog rock band. You know, it's the Fallen Angels or something. I don't know. See, again, do any of these really entice you to want to check out the book? You're looking at these covers and going, man, I gotta pick that up and find out what happens. Like, okay, like this one maybe a little bit, because you know, you got somebody looks like they're dead and they're screaming. It's like, oh, so somebody dies. What's this? You know, but most of these, again, just standard pinup. I mean, it feels almost like the covers were made in mind of like, well, we want to sell the artwork for lots of money, so let's do covers that look like pinups, and I can sell it for big bucks as the artist of this. You know, I mean, it just. And here we are, the final one. Finally, again, just, you know, here's Wolverine and Professor X and Polaris, just, you know, just standing there. You know, and there it is, the very uninspired Chuck Austen run. Yes, yes, you know, I mean, or just even if it's not necessarily in the issue, just something that's like maybe some action on the cover. You know, them just standing around posing, looking emo or looking, angry or looking, forlorn for content. Why else? But she didn't just get that. Okay, so I mean, she got that. That's not that great. We all agree. But she did get some stuff that was at least good stuff. So now we're gonna get with the other stuff she got. She picked up the Guy Gardner Warrior 29 issue because she just loves the whole aspect of them hanging out in a bar. All the heroes just hanging out in a bar. Now this one I got her because I know she loves this book. And when we sold our original collections back in 2010, she had to give this up, and I know it hurt. So I made sure to get this for her when we were at the show this time. And the classic Donna Troy marriage, the ill-fated marriage, I guess I should say, considering how everything turned out there. But yeah, she loved that George Perez run, and I still read Marvel. There was still some good stuff there, but I don't think Austin's X-Men would rank among those with most people. Yes, 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 she does. Yeah, according to her, it is. I'll admit, I've never read the book. I don't know if that issue is great or not, but she says it's like one of her all-time favorite Titan stories. So that's why when I saw that was available, I said, I got to get that for her at the show, and so I did. But now we get to the other one that she was working on. Besides the much forgettable Chuck Austen run of X-Men, the other one she wanted to try to get was she wanted to try to recollect her Dick Dillon Justice League run, which was like the other one that when we sold our collections back in 2010, that's the one that hurt. She had a huge Justice League run, and she loved the Dick Dillon stuff. So she went by and she picked up quite a few issues. I'm impressed at how many she was actually able to get. So we'll start out here with the classic Justice Society and Justice League team up book, which she says these were always like some of her favorites, was when the Justice League and the Justice Society were working together. Then we got the giant size one here. I mean, look at that price, 35 cents. My God, how times have changed. We got this one here. Take note of that price too. You can see even these 70 Dick Dillon Justice Leagues are not cheap anymore, folks. You can't, 10 years ago you probably could have got this for like $5. Now it's like 3 times that. I swear the pandemic has ruined so many things, not the least of which is fun for us in the collecting field, of making everything so expensive. Thanks, Joe Biden. And this one here is a part of a two-parter, which he says is one of her favorite Justice League stories, was this one right here. These two-parters. And then the one right after is also a favorite of hers with Adam Strange. And Adam Strange's wedding, no less. So I think you're noticing a theme here. The woman loves the weddings. Now this one is kind of special for her because she actually owns an original page of artwork from this very issue. So this is her Dick Dillon art that she owns is from this book. And it's kind of cool because the page actually has the villain of the piece on it. Maybe I'll dig that up and I'll show that to you guys after we get through all this. This one's funny because when she saw it, she asked me, "What do you think? Should I get this one?" And I said yes, just because it's Superman clocking Hal Jordan. I said, well, he's clocking Hal, so it can't be all bad. I was never a big Hal Jordan fan. And then when the Green Lantern Wars of the 90s with Hal versus Kyle went on, the Hal Jordan fans didn't ingratiate me to the character anymore. So, I just seeing Hal get knocked out by Superman pretty funny. And look at this in the background here with the rest of them. You got Batman there. The lantern is out, and then Green Arrow like a light. And it's like, what the hell is it with Green Lanterns and getting knocked out in one punch? You got here's Superman knocking Hal out in one punch. You had Batman knock out Guy Gardner in one punch. I mean, is it a prerequisite to be in the Corps to have a glass jaw? I mean, what is all that about? What is all that about? Yeah, she does. She loves those Justice League. But like I said, like that was probably the one out of all the other stuff that she gave up. The one that hurt the most is giving up the Justice League run, especially all the Dick Dillon stuff for her. For me, it was my Amazing Spider-Man run from issue 19 to 509. Solid, everything, all the annuals, all the specials, all the giant size, all of it. I had it all. And that was the hard one for me to give up. But for her, it was her Justice League run. That was the hard one for her to have to give up. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it also depends on the writer too. I mean, some get pretty verbose, like like a Chris Claremont. I mean, when Claremont is on, his dialogue is like just bam, it just blows you away. But when he's just like blathering and just won't stop, it actually makes the book kind of a slog to read. Like like some of his X-Men stuff is masterful, but then you'll read something like Sovereign 7, and it's like, oh God, when can we get some action in here? Can we get like 5 pages of just battle for a break from all this dialogue, please? So, I mean, it really is a balance. Yeah, and I'm sure Batman does too, which is why he knocked out Guy Gardner in one punch. What I'm saying is just, it's funny to me that the Green Lanterns, just one punch takes them out. They got the most powerful weapon in the universe on their fingers, and yet they can't take a punch. That's just hilarious to me. That's hilarious. We got another. Something else I've noticed is you see quite a few covers where Wonder Woman is in distress. Here she is again in the clutches of the creature, knocked out. That's hilarious to me. No, he doesn't. I'm sure Batman doesn't fight fair. Just ask Superman, because he got his butt kicked in Dark Knight Returns. So we all see how Batman doesn't hit like Superman. I like this. It's like it looks like a play on Now this, I think, what year is this? Is this 70, 75? So I think this might be before the classic X-Men cover from X-Men number 100, where it's Professor Xavier in the middle, and you had all the X-Men lined up on the two sides, the original team and the new team. This seems to be a play on that, and it's like this was before that. So I kind of wondered, did they swipe this from them? Was that where they got this idea for that cover for X-Men 100? Be interesting to find out. Some more classic goodness. The classic look of the Joker, pre-Bolland. This is how he used to look before Bolland took over, and now everyone makes their Joker look like Brian Bolland's Joker. Now, this is another big one that she got. And the big thing about this one is even Aaron Lopresti was impressed with this book for obvious reasons. We got interiors of Dick Dillon, but a Neal Adams cover. And even Aaron Lopresti was impressed when he saw this one. And another Neal Adams cover. So yeah, this is like, when we did the comic art convo and Aaron and I talked about our favorite cover artists. This is kind of what we were talking about, how like certain artists, they just have that je ne sais quoi in their style that just like when you see the image, you don't even have to know anything about the characters, you don't have to know anything about the story, you just see that image and you're just like, oh, I got to pick that up. You know, and like so you see that these Neil Adams covers, I'm sure that's exactly what they brought him on the book for, was because that's what they wanted. Yeah, but at least in this case, he's showing good taste. You know, so we at least have that. He's actually being impressed by something that actually should be impressive. Little destruction there, red tornado. And then here we are again with the team ups with the Justice Society. They did seem to do a lot of those team ups back then. I do think they did. Yeah, they are great covers. See, now this I can see this guy actually jacking up Hal, because here he is, like, even giving Superman a hard time, and we all saw Superman had no problem just knocking Hal out. So you know this guy is probably even less of a problem for him for Ultra. And then we get some Zatanna action in her superhero outfit. Get a couple of those. Yeah, I gotta say, you know, I never cared for Zatanna and that superhero-y design she had. I always thought that the top hat and tails was like the perfect look for her. She doesn't need anything else. That's all she needs. Yeah, but I don't do the cannonballs. That's Aaron's shtick. He's the cannonball man. I mean, I guess I can tell him about this, and I'll send this over to him later and say, hey, you need to watch this because Leg Kick busted your stones a bit, and so you got to give him a cannonball on Sunday. Yeah, I figured that, Dira. Like I said, I know they did them quite often, and it's because they knew it was a sales boost. You know, people go, hey, they're Justice Society and Justice League together in one. Oh, I got to get that. Almost done here. Some more Justice League action here. And again, look at how she was able to get such bargains. I mean, this is not a very beat up copy. $2. You know, that's what I love about shows. You can always get some good bargains at a show somewhere. Almost finished here. As you see, the JLA and the JSA are back together again with a dead body. There's something you never want. You never want Batman accusing you. That's never going to be turning out well for you if Batman is pointing his finger in an accusation at you. And then finally, which is kind of a apropos way of putting it, because this issue here, the final issue of the late great Dick Dillon. This was his final issue in the book before he passed away. You know, Green Arrow quits, and then his life quit. And there we go. And that was my wife's haul from SummerCon. So he didn't, did he? He didn't do that. I thought for sure you'd get one for that. I mean, I know I sent him an issue. I sent him issue number 5, which had a great Garcia Lopez cover, and then inks by him and pencils by Ross Andrew. And I sent that one to him because Ross Andrew was the guy who worked on the mini books before the regular series came out. So that's why I got him that one. And he's supposedly the Ross Andrew fan because he grew up with him on Spider-Man. And so I thought if anything's going to get him to check it out, maybe it'll be Ross Andrew artwork. And nope. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, she got some good bargains. I was really impressed. You know, you saw some of those were on the pricier side, but you know, they're also very nice copies, I must say. So, but yeah, I was amazed at some of the deals she got on some of those old Justice Leagues. But speaking of which, I promised you guys I'd show you her art. So let me see about getting that for you guys. I'll try to dig it up here. There it is. And we'll shrink me down. There we go. So here you guys go. This is her original page from that issue 126 of Justice League. You see, because here's the guy that was on the cover. There's the villain right here. Superman's got a hold of him after he gets clocked by Aquaman. I mean, that's probably pretty embarrassing being a villain and getting clocked and knocked out by Aquaman. You know, that's even more embarrassing than, like, you know, the Green Lantern's getting knocked out by Batman. You know, it's even more embarrassing when you take a shot by Aquaman. It's like, you know, it's like the short kid on the team, you know, cracking the home run on you. It's like, oh man, I'm never gonna live this down. But yeah, there it is by as you can see here, Dick Dillon and Frank McLaughlin. So yeah, this is her original Dick Dillon page. This is her pride and joy. I think probably of just about all her art, this is probably the one piece that she would probably never want to part with out of any of them. Is this one right here? For obvious reasons, you know, she just loved the Justice League so much. And so that having a page from that run was very important to her. Like I said, that's why she paid so much for that one copy of the book, is just because it's the one that has the page she has. So she wanted to make sure to have that, you know, in her collection, I guess. And so, like I said, it was pretty amazing to me to see her fill in that run as much as she did. And then, of course, like I said, we got almost all the Chuck Austin run, but that wasn't too difficult. I don't think there's a high demand. We're going to worry about, like, not finding copies of the Chuck Austin X-Men run. You have more trouble finding Dick Dillon Justice League issues than you will the Chuck Austin X-Men. Well, I mean, that opening photo from the Superman movie with the darkness, and, you know, he's just sort of like, you know, I don't care. I'll take care of that blasting monster when I feel like it. I just, you know, just like, he was just so, you know, just a horrible image to try to set your movie up on it. Even if the movie is great, even if it's as uplifting as the classic Chris Reeves run, I mean, of the films, you know, it doesn't matter. That image now is, you know, going to stain everything that they wanted to do. I mean, just that was, I don't know who let that out, who thought that was a good idea, but whoever they are, they need to be fired. But of course, as we know, in today's Hollywood, the more you screw up, the more they knock you up. Yes, dear, we all do. You're just a little odder than most. That's all. But that's okay. I still love you. But there we go. We got her Justice League art there. So a pretty. Well, it's James Gunn. It's going to be odd no matter what. I mean, look what he did with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, that was an oddball movie. Now, granted, people liked it, they enjoyed it, and that's great. But I mean, it was still kind of odd. So I mean, you know, just the fact you say James Gunn's doing as well, yeah, it's going to have some oddity to it. No, no, dear, this is not for our anniversary. No, I just doing a late night stream. It's hot, and you know, I'm you know I can't get any sleep right now, so I figured just doing a little Insomniac theater for everybody. I mean, you know, may as well try to get some content for the channel out of my dealing with the humidity. But so since Ledkick brought it up, and he mentioned Aaron Lopresti, why don't we look at what Aaron Lopresti got at the show? Because he got a lot of stuff given to him by people, including yours truly. So why don't we check in on that, and we'll see what he got at the show, and he can show you, and maybe I can give you some of my commentary on maybe why I got him those specific issues. So let's once again get ready here to share the screen. And there we go. And there we are. Okay, so let's get it rolling.
So a lot of people brought me gifts. Creative Faye brought me a wonderful drawing of Kit Carter and Esther. And as we know, I almost grabbed another potato chip, but I'm not. Angela Curry brought me all that chocolate. It's wonderful. Geek Avenger and Squeaky brought us neck fans and little spray bottle fans. And but Sequential Treasures, James, he always feels the need to fill my spinner rack with comics, and it's getting full, but a lot of them are James. So,
well, that's because I got great taste and I know what's good. So, you know, I want to have a good spinner rack in the studio there, so when he wants to read something, or if he has people over and they go in there and they want to read something, they're gonna have something good to read. You know, we can't trust Aaron's tastes.
I am kind of a closeted Kazar fan.
That is not something you want to admit out loud, I think. That sounds better in your head than it does out loud. Just saying.
So he picked me up some Kazar books, and they're not in great shape, and they're not supposed to be. These go in the spinner rack. So it's scripted by Mike Friedrich, drawn by Don Heck. Mike Esposito did the inking. How about that? And Roy Thomas edited it. So anyway, we got Kazar here. Now I have number 1, of course, in near mint condition.
Now, the reason I got him this wasn't because of the Don Heck art on the inside. It's, as you can see, this incredible Gil Kane cover on the outside. And we all know what a fiend Aaron is for Gil Kane art. So that's, you know, when I know what you like, I'm always going to focus in on that. So I know he loves Gil Kane, and I saw that great Gil Kane cover. I'm like, I know he doesn't have this issue. Let me grab that.
I have 10 and is it 10 and 11? Well, one of them has his origin in it, and I have that. And James, I think, got me one and it was actually CGC 9.2 or 9.4 or something.
That would be issue number 3 of Kazar, which also has an awesome Gil Kane cover. That one inked by John Romita Sr.
But then he picked up all these. Shocking that Kazar would be in the dollar bin. But so he picked up all these for me.
Just to clarify, they were not dollar bin. These were more like $3 and $4 books, which again, maybe by Bidenomics, that would be the equivalent of $1 back in the day, perhaps, maybe, but it was not $1. It was $4. Don't undersell me, Aaron.
All these snazzy. Ooh, look at this. The nice Gil Kane covers, but John Buscema and Sonny Trinidad did the art in here. Buscema inked by one of the Filipino gang. Oh man, I love John Buscema. I didn't know he. Yeah, it's Buscema, all right. Those dinosaurs.
And you can see right there, I hit it. It's like that's a winner right there. The minute he saw Buscema's name, all right, that's a win. That's a win.
Ew, pages stuck together. Let's see here.
Pages stuck together. Maybe Baron isn't the only closeted Kazar fan. He's not the only closeted Kazar fan.
Ooh, I don't have to read these. I don't ever have time to read comics, but gosh darn it, I'm going to do it. So yes, you have this whole stack. Here's Kazar 12, a little nicer shape, but it's going in the rack, so it doesn't matter. Now this is Russ Heath. True. How about that? Who would have thought? So you got a little Buscema, a little Russ Heath. Russ, of course, best known for his war comics, but nice looking stuff by Russ Heath. And who did I say was in the first one here, number 5? Oh, right. Don Heck. So legendary Don Heck does that issue. Then we got Buscema in here. And Russ Heath in there. And we got one more here. One more issue of Kazar. Now, this is the stuff that was gifted to me. This isn't even the stuff I bought, so we'll get to that in a minute.
Does he? I didn't realize that. I thought this was a character created by Marvel, like just, you know, that they wanted a version of Tarzan that they could use for their own purposes. And since they couldn't use the actual Tarzan of you know, Edgar Rice Burroughs, they said, well, we'll just create our own. We'll call him Kazar. Yeah, that works. I had no idea that he was actually a character that it was actually around before Marvel Comics was using him. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Gil Kane looks like inked by, I was going to say Jansen, but that's not Jansen. I'm not sure who inked that, but you got Claw. Who did the insides? Val Mayrick, inked by Ernie Chan. So, boy, they didn't keep the same artist on here very much. Apparently, Kazar was the, hey, we need an issue of Kazar done. Can you do it? Yeah, okay. But never a regular artist, apparently.
You know, that is kind of interesting about the book, is that, like, you don't seem to see like a regular artist or even a semi-regular. It's like almost every issue or every other issue is a different artist. So, you know, I don't know if that speaks to whether the book was, you know, just very versatile so that lots of different artists could work on it, or if they just, you know, just didn't care and they're just like, yeah, just get somebody to draw this thing. Oh, we got some more people coming in, more late night crawlers like me who can't sleep. Blackjack, hail, my friend, hail. Glad you could join us. We're doing, we just went through what the wife got for SummerCon a couple weeks ago, because you guys already saw my booty haul. Now you got to see hers. Now we're showing the stuff from Aaron's live stream last Sunday when he showed the stuff he got at SummerCon, which was gifted by yours truly. So, you know, you guys can see that I got like great taste.
Kind of has a John Carter vibe right there, doesn't it? The green guys in the helmets. Look at all these ads.
See, and I agree. Look at those ads. Like the plushy Spider-Man and Captain America, the beanie cap. I mean, just, you know, you don't see this kind of stuff anymore. It's like, you know, even, you know, it's so funny to me. Even old comics, the ads are even cooler than they are today. You know, you're not going to see cool ads like this in modern Marvel and DC and other, you know, mainstream publishers. You're not going to see any of that. Yes, dear. I mentioned that last year we had gotten you the entire Hulk Pantheon run by Peter David. Yes, I already mentioned that. But yeah, I mean, it just stymies me how, you know, even ads back in the day had more creativity to them than they do now. You know, it really just shows you how far the whole industry has fallen from stem to stern. Not just, you know, the work, you know, between the pages of like the art and the stories, but even the ads aren't very impressive anymore.
So yeah, there you go. Some nice Val Mayrick work. I haven't seen Val in a while. He moved to Texas. He left Oregon, moved to Texas. I've got a feeling he's a wise man. Now he does.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. That is the wisest move anyone could make. That is the wisest move anybody could make.
It's like fine art painting, but it's like dinosaurs and cowboys or something. Pretty cool stuff. Valley of Gwangi all the way. Okay, so now James always pays attention to everything you say. And I once said this is one of my favorite Simonson covers on his Thor run. You got Thor down here, but look at the composition. How this winds you around and takes you right to Thor, that big, massive monster. This is just a great composition. And who would think to do that for a cover? Well, I'll tell you who. The great Walter Simonson would do that on a cover.
I love this. It's just, you know, he does that now because of me. Whenever he says the great, it's because of me. Saying things like the great Jeffrey Combs, or, you know, the great Ingrid Pitt, you know, just B movie actors who I called great, and now he just uses that all the time. But I'm the originator, folks. That's over here. Credit where it's due.
JG Martinez is saying, Aaron, if you have the time to give us a Conan-like book, that would really cook it, sir. Thank you. I would love to. And I keep toying with the idea of doing a Savage Tales black and white magazine, but I'd have to fit it in. This is actually high grade, but that's okay. I've got one already, so we'll put it in the spinner. And it's got Simonson. Simonson was still doing the artwork on the inside. These are just great.
Bubble Yum.
I've always been a Thor fan, but this kind of made me a really big Thor fan, and I was completely unaware of Walter's work until this, which is pretty embarrassing because I think this came out in '81. I mean, when his first issue, '83. Yeah, probably '83 or somewhere in that neighborhood, early '80s. And but yeah, I was unfamiliar with him until this came out, and everybody was talking about it, so I had to check it out. And all the talk was legit. I mean, that is what a fantastic run by our good friend of the show, Walter Simonson. Okay.
Now, just take note, folks, of what he said at the start of that when he started talking about the Thor issue is how, like, when you say something, you know, I always remember it. I am a living, like, human memory cell. So when you say things, I'm going to remember them. Just take that as note when you do things like that. I just wanted to make that clear.
Now, he also grabbed me this, which is funny because I picked up one earlier myself, but this one looks like it's in better condition than mine. So my copy will go in the spinner rack. This may go into my collection.
I got this because when we did our comic art convo about our favorite crossover comics, everyone gave him crap for not having read this. So I said, you know what? I saw a copy. It was very nice, as he says, very nice condition. And I said, you know what? I got to get this for Aaron so we can finally read this book. I didn't know he already had a copy. But, of course, being the condition snob that Aaron is, he, of course, says how mine is better. So I guess this will now be the one that sits inside of his collection, and the one that he already had would be the one on the rack. Yeah, I mean, the art is spectacular. I think even more than his Thor and X Factor runs, I think this might be the issue that has the best Walt Simonson work. I mean, just my personal opinion. I think he was really like hitting it on all cylinders. I think on this crossover. So, and yeah, like I said, I just got this for Aaron because, like I said, everyone gave him so much crap because he admitted that he had not read this crossover, and so I said, you know what, I got to help him out. I got to get him something good here. Let me get him this so we can actually read this story now. Will he do it? Probably not. But hey, it's Aaron. It's what you expect.
But speaking of Walter Simonson, Uncanny X-Men and New Teen Titans. I never read this. I still haven't read it. Apocalypse Now. Get it? That's a joke. So yeah, so you got all this crazy Simonson stuff, and with the X-Men, and then it's the New Teen Titans. That must have been the weirdest feeling doing crossovers like this, you know, in the same book. You know, you got Batman or Robin in here along with the X-Men, and there's Wolverine on one page. And so, yeah, I think this was the last crossover before, shall we say, relationships broke down between the two
Well, it was the last crossover before the mid-'90s when we had an explosion of them. So it was probably the last one for like 10 or 12 years. So he's right on that. And it was like a long time after before we saw any more crossovers, over a decade. Yes. But it was not the last crossover ever done by Marvel and DC.
Two companies. But anyway, I think I'm going to put this in my collection because this looks like it's in like a 9.4 or maybe even a 9.6-ish kind of degree. So I might put that in my collection and stick my copy in the spinner rack. So thank you, James, also known as Sequential Treasures.
Now you might think it's over, folks, but it's not yet. Just hold on. There's more to come.
For those gifts. He also threw these my way. So I guess I'll draw on these at some point and maybe put them up for sale. I don't know. So anyway, again.
So there you go, folks. You start pestering him for sketch covers because you know he has some now. Get on his back. Hey, Aaron, are you doing commission sketch covers?
Again, thank you, James. This comes from, doggone it, is this Geek Avenger? Well, wait a minute. I guess I have more James stuff here I forgot about.
Yes, you do.
So James also hooked me up with a couple of Doc Savage books for the spinner rack. I have this entire series in near mint condition, of course. But this has some really cool Rich Buckler covers and Ross Andrew interiors. This series only went 8 issues, about 1973, I want to say.
Now, of course, the reason I got this is, one, because Aaron is a James Bama fan who is well known for his painted Doc Savage covers for like novels and things like that. And, you know, it's Doc Savage and a werewolf and, you know, monsters on the cover. I mean, you know, you got monsters on the cover from mid-70s Marvel. You know, that's the Aaron Lopresti sweet spot. If he doesn't already own it, it's one you know he's going to enjoy. So that's why I got him these for the spinner rack. And I'm like, let's put some stuff up there that he's going to actually, I know he'll enjoy that it's on there. Not something he'll maybe find it and go, oh, that was kind of cool. Like something I might have got him that, you know, he wasn't interested in, but then liked it. I said, let me try to get him something for the rack that I know for sure he's going to like. And so that's why I got him those.
That would have been about the last of the 20 centers before they went up to 25 cents. So yeah, Doc Savage, I loved this as a kid, but only made it 8 issues before it died. But yeah, I'm still a big Doc Savage fan. I love Doc Savage. So anyway, these go in the spinner rack. Thank you, James. Okay, now this one.
And there you go. That's where all the rest of the money that I had went. When I wasn't buying for him, or I wasn't buying for the wife, or I wasn't buying for a couple other friends, you know, I bought my stuff, and that's so I spread it around. You know, me when I go shopping, I'm not just shopping for me. I'm shopping for everybody. This is why it's good to be my friend, folks. You'd rather be my friend than my enemy, because then look at what you get when you're my friend. So I think that kind of covers everything for the SummerCon now. I'm not sure there's much more left for me to say about it after this. So, man. But yeah. So what do you guys in the chat? Anybody got anything you guys want to talk about tonight? What's it? Yeah, I saw that, the Avengers issue. You like, and you said he also mentioned you gave him the Atari Force #1. That's classic. That's classic. But yeah, you guys, if you got anything you got in the chat there, you've got something you wanted to talk about. You know, like I said, I'm here. This was not planned. This was all impromptu. I had no plan going in here. I didn't know what I was going to do. I just said, you know, just it's hot and it's humid, and you know, even with the AC, it's still, you know, you can't get any rest. So let's get some content going. Is anything out there you guys particularly paying attention to, or you? Let me tell you. My wife was a water sign and I was an earth. Together we made mud. Let me tell you, folks. I don't get no respect at all. I took my wife to a dog show. She won first prize. I did. That's why I have anybody here at all. Wow, that's pretty cool. 50-cent boxes. You don't see that much anymore. So was there anything any good in there? Did they have any good stuff, or is it just like all just basically modern junk that they know they can't sell? So like, yeah, just throw it out there for 50 cents to get something out of it. Because that wouldn't work for me. Nah, no way. Ain't got the money for that. We really didn't have the money for SummerCon, but we said, screw it, we're gonna do SummerCon anyway, because at least it's, you know, regional. But so, yeah, San Diego, that would be a monstrous expense. And yeah, we just ain't got the funds for that right now. That can't happen. Yeah, but again, is it great stuff that's in the boxes, or is it the good stuff, or is it modern stuff that like we all know is garbage and nobody wants to read? Oh wow, wow, the indie stuff, nice. That actually might be worth checking out, because there were a couple of books I was looking for at SummerCon that I couldn't find, that nobody seemed to have any copies of, like Winter World 1 through 3. I wanted to get that miniseries, and a couple other things like that, and nobody seemed to have them. It's like, wow, so yeah, maybe that'd be worth checking out. I'd love to see a box of indies like that for like 50 cents a pop. Man, I'd go to town. Nice, nice. Yes, the best times, the best time. For me, pound for pound. I mean, I know there are some people who say maybe the Silver Age is the best, or even the Golden Age. To me, pound for pound, Copper Age, the '80s. That's the best time in comics ever. It will never be that good again. It was magic, and we will never see its like again. Oh, sweet. Yeah, I own the entire run of the first Marvel Fanfare series. I don't have the second one that they did in the '90s later on that didn't last long. And Marvel Comics Presents, I've got some stories, but I got the stories that I really wanted. So I mean, and especially of course the Barry Windsor Smith Weapon X, which I'm guessing probably wasn't in 50-cent boxes. They're not giving away the Barry Windsor Smith Weapon X for 50 cents, I don't think. Really, in dollar boxes? Simonson's Thor? Perez Teen Titans? Good lord, man, maybe. Hey, honey, we need to take a road trip to these places. We gotta take a road trip. Yeah, that'll work for me. Yeah, just drop me off. I'll just go to town. That'll work. I'll have fun with that. Huh, I didn't know it was an original one. I thought the accent he was doing is like a whole new property. I didn't realize he'd done something before with that. Ah, Star Slayers. Yeah, there you go. Some classic sci-fi. So what I'm going to do now is, since I don't know what else to do, I'm going to put the link out here in the chat. And if you guys want, you can use it to come on in, and I'll bring you on, and we can talk live. We'll do that. We'll do the classic, radio show type thing. Ah, but which Star Wars? The original Star Wars or the Disney Star Wars? There is a difference. There is a difference. Why? So that he can try to get more out of you for it? I mean, I hate that. It's like, if you're going to do dollar boxes, just mark everything the dollar. Just do it. And if you want a certain price or something, just put the price on it. Don't play games. Don't say, well, we're not going to price stuff and we'll figure it out. No, no, let's figure it out now. I don't want to. I don't want to spend all night going through price guides and you trying to soak me for every dime. Legos are okay. I played the Lego Batman video game. That was kind of fun. Me and my brother, he had a system, and we played it one night. We were up all night for this. This is like about 15 years ago. We were up half the night just playing Lego Batman. It was crazy. But yeah, just yeah, I'd love to find somebody who is doing dollar boxes full of '80s comics or 50 centers that are all these great '80s and '70s indies companies. Man, I'd go to town there. I, I I'd bankrupt us. I'd bankrupt us, dear, if there was a place like that around here. Oh, okay, I see. He only does them with buckets. You're like, I don't feel like looking it up. Hey, his laziness is other people's gain. That works for me. You want to sell me a $10 or $15 book for $1 because you just don't feel like looking it up and pricing it. Hey, it works. I'll buy it. I'll pay here. Here's a buck. I'll even pay sales tax. I won't even complain about it. Yeah, I remember. I remember when I was working at a shop back east, and we did a show. It was one of those little one-day events. It's a real tiny show. It was like inside like the dining area room of a hotel, and to get ready for it, the owner of the shop had me separate out all the back issues. And like X-Men, Spider-Man, and a couple other hot titles at the time, this is in like '96. A couple other hot titles at the time were separated out from everything else. And those books were marked at 50% off. And everything else was marked at 75% off. So when we went into the show, the books were lined up, in their arranged how they're supposed to be. And I can't tell you how many times people came up to the table seeing us, 50 to 75% off, and like, are you guys going out of business? it's like no, we're just unloading the stock so we can take the money and buy more stuff for the store, so we can do more stuff. That's we figure sitting on this inventory isn't helping us. But yeah, that killed me. I mean, I had $1 for every time someone said, "Are you going out of business? Are you guys closing up shop?" We could have stopped selling the books. I just could have said, "Yeah, just no, we're not," and just took the $1, and we'd have been fine. We'd have been more than enough to pay for our expenses at the show. Well, then stop smelling it. That's and wash it, and that's how you stop that. It's a real simple solution. Yeah, still not sure how to do any of that stuff, dear. This is, a lot of this stuff is still pretty new to me, folks. And in case you're wondering, I'm not the master that I appear to be sometimes. No, doing things, is I'm not a very technical minded person, which of course is why I do YouTube, because I'm not technical minded. So why not just boomer it up? Oh, it's SummerCon next year. Oh man, the big one, the one I want to meet more than any other is McFarlane, because I just grew up with his stuff, and I've never met him. I've met almost all the other Image guys except for him and Jim Lee. And with what Jim Lee's doing now, I mean, and I don't bang him. If you want to charge $35,000 for a commission and you can get it because someone will pay, all the power to you, baby. Capitalism is a great thing. But when I see the state DC Comics is in and he's in charge, and rather than try to work there and fix that and get some good books out on the stands, let me just go over here and do my commissions for exorbitant amounts of money that people will pay. I mean, that kind of ruins me for wanting to meet you now. It's like, because I just see that's kind of like, you're only in it for yourself. I mean, we all have to take care of number one. That's true. But, I don't think Jim Lee is hurting for money. I mean, he's getting paid a good salary being president of DC or whatever. You would think that would be enough to say, okay, I don't have to worry about money. Let me try to make the books better. But he's like, no, let me just cash out and, grab what I can for me. So, but like, I'd love to meet McFarlane. That would be awesome. I would love to meet McFarlane in person. Yeah, that's because the man behind the curtain is an idiot. that's right. Well, yeah, but I'm just saying is like, I'm not like very well versed technically with like technologies and stuff, and so I'm just kind of doing this stuff on the fly. I by the seat of my pants type of stuff. I mean, I just recently learned how to make little video clips of like intros for stuff and things. Like, and I'm thinking like, wow, I feel like a movie maker now. I'm the next James Cameron. I'm the next Ridley Scott, you know? Yeah, for a Canadian. He is a good guy for a Canadian. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Man, those Canucks, I mean, when they're not busy being fascists to each other, they're actually very nice people. Like the most polite people you'll ever meet. I remember when the wife and I, she was working at Four Color Review, and she was tapped by this other guy who ran a site called Comics to Film, and it was all in the early days of all this stuff with the movies. And he had asked the guy that ran Four Color Review, "Do you have anybody who can go to Vancouver, British Columbia, to be there for the X-Men 2 press conference?" And of course, we were able to do that because we lived closest to anybody he had working at the site. And so the guy set it all up with us, and we went there, and it was a great time. And but the people we met there in the audience, with the other, I guess you could say it was like I built at the $1 million press conference, because we figured for all the stars up on that dais, and the director Bryan Singer, all the money that was spent for like the 40 minutes they were talking to the geeks and the media geeks that we were, that 40-minute period, they probably spent like $1 million for all those people to be up there. But it was funny to me because the people there were just like so gracious. And I remember when we were, and after the event was over and we were like just going out to get something to eat, they were like really intent when talking with us, and they wanted to know, hey, you Americans, what do you think about X, Y, and Z? And like they really wanted to hear what we had to say. I was like, wow, I didn't think my opinions were all that important or impressive. Yes, she is. Well, the wife is doing one coming up here next month in Phoenix. She's going to be representing the USA, so that's a big deal. It's a dream come true for her. So, and I totally support that. I've supported her doing this. So, oh, I did not know that. Wow, that's new information. Wow, but he's still Canadian, so it doesn't change. He may have graduated from EWU and have some ties to Washington State, but that doesn't mean he's still a Canadian. That doesn't change. Yes. The wife got a little bit of the vapors, because when we were at the press conference, right before it happened, they were seating us into this area, and there was this little, like, I guess, like, entryway that you could go down, and if you look down that entryway, you could see some of the setup for like where some of the stars were, like I guess like dressing tables and makeup tables, and her and this other female reporter were there, and they looked down that aisle, and they got to see Hugh Jackman putting on his shirt. So they got to see like a 5-second thing of Hugh Jackman shirtless, and they both got the vapors from that experience. Bruce Timm would be a good one. I wouldn't mind meeting Bruce Timm. I love Batman the Animated Series. One of my favorite series of all times. It's a classic. It's I don't think we're ever going to get a better Batman than we got on that show. Oh, there you go, dear. Now you have even more reason to love the man. If you didn't already, if seeing him shirtless wasn't enough for you, he loves power. He loves the power lift. So there you go. Well, yeah, I would think he would. I mean, getting jacked up like he has in the movies, I would hope he could do that. It's all an incestuous relationship between you guys, isn't it? McFarlane is ties in Puyallup, and my dad's a Canadian, and he's Canadian, but he went to EWU. The tangled webs we weave. It's ironic he got to do Spider-Man with these tangled webs. Oh God. Yeah, I'm probably in my best shape, just because I have started getting a little more active, taking walks and things, and cleaning up my diet after all the stuff I had happen to me last year for with the medical stuff. So I'm probably in the best shape I've been in years. And that's a sad statement to have to make. Well, the wife supports you there, Blackjack. Congratulations. Wow, I've been joining on for over an hour and I didn't even realize it. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just funny, the whole stuff with all my medical problems to me was just like, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't do any narcotics, I'm not a late night partier, I don't like involve myself in any dangerous hobbies like alligator wrestling or skydiving or anything. I do all the things like that would think you do. Oh, that guy's gonna live forever, and yet I'm the one. No, that's not how it works. It doesn't work that way. Yes, dear, I know you keep saying that. I know. And then what happens is there's right as you're getting ready to diet, there's another meat. So I know how that goes. Well, he just said dear, he'd like to see Bruce Timm at the summer con. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. That's major. Wow. I mean, that's you like lost almost a whole person off of you. It's if we took all that off you, it's almost enough to make a whole other person. Yeah, but I wouldn't want to get any fighting matches with those MMA guys. They can be brutal. I've seen some of those matches, man. They get brutal sometimes, especially like in the old days, like the original MMA, like from like 20 years ago. Those guys, they were like vicious. Frank Miller, yeah, that'd be another good one. Roger Stern, I'd like to see Stern. I've met Joe Rubenstein. I got several books signed by him, including a couple of Silver Surfer issues that are also signed by Steve Englehart and the late great Marshall Rogers. So, yeah, I've met Rubenstein. In fact, I think I even have a piece of art that he could sign that I don't have signed by him yet. Yes, I do. I do have a piece. Let me think. What is it? I think. Let me see if I can find it here. Ah, yes, here it is. I found it. This is my piece inked by Joe Rubenstein from Silver Surfer number 11. The Marshall Rogers run, in fact, but it's the one issue that he didn't do in that 12 issues. It's the one that was done by Joe Staten. What I'll do is I'll hit this and big it up so you guys can see it better. Now this again, this is Staten, and you can see there's no Surfer on here, but you do have Nova, who's incognito, and the first appearance of the character Clumsy Foul-Up. And not just first appearance in the sense of like it's a page from the issue that he first appears in. This is the actual very first page Clumsy Foul-Up is ever on. Oh, that's cool. But yeah, this is the page I have that's inked by Rubenstein. Let's see. Here's the published version. And then there's the cover to the issue, which is by Marshall Rogers. it's kind of funny. Issue 10, Walt Simonson did the cover, but Rogers did the interiors, and then on issue 11, Rogers did the cover, and then Joe Staton did the interiors. The things they used to do to make a deadline. The things they used to do to make those deadlines. Yeah, that's a good run. That's definitely a good run. I like that run. But yeah, for me, I think it's Rubenstein inking Marshall Rogers' run on Surfer. That's my favorite. And a lot of people they either like the Kirby or the Buscema Surfer, and of course there's a lot of people who like the Ron Lim Surfer. Those styles. But like I have always preferred the Marshall Rogers one because he makes himself a surfer tone, but he's not a behemoth the way sometimes Lim would draw him, like being super muscular. And the way that he did some of this shading on the surfer's body with some of those lines to create the reflectiveness of his skin, I thought was better than it had more detail than say Buscema or Kirby's did, which sometimes their surfer would look a little flat because they wouldn't be able to get that shiny effect on the skin. Yeah, but again, he's like in the Ron Lim school where he makes him real kind of bulky. He made him real like super defined, and it's like that's just not the surfer to me. He's like imagine just an average guy dipped in silver. That's the Silver Surfer, and that's what Marshall Rogers' surfer looks like. He looks like just an average guy. You wouldn't think this guy is super strong or tossing around cosmic rays, or you wouldn't think of that. He's just a normal looking average guy who's silver skinned. That's about it. And that's why I like the Rogers run so much, because the surfer felt more like just an average guy rather than like a behemoth. Like this is a guy who's going to take on the Hulk and Thor with one hand tied behind his back. So that's just my take though. You can't beat Marshall Rogers as a draftsman. One of the finest draftsmen ever in the history of comics, as far as I'm concerned, is Marshall Rogers. Yeah, see, like I said, a lot of people love the Buscema Surfer. They do, and I see why. I mean, again, Buscema's figure work is just excellent. But to me, like I said, he sometimes maybe it was the limitations of the coloring at the time. Maybe it was just because of his style being so centric around the actual figure work rather than in trying to achieve the effect of silver. Sometimes it just like when you look at some of those old pages, and especially when you look at the artwork itself, like when you look at some of those classic Buscema pages, sometimes the surfer on the page looks a little flat because there wasn't enough definition given in the way he was shaded and the coloring and whatnot to different, like to give that, like I said, that silvery effect that you saw when Marshall Rogers was doing it. Those swervy lines and stuff that were giving that texture. And that's why I prefer his over anybody else's. And it's sad too because his run was so short. It was only 1 year, and then he did one issue I think later in the series, which I think probably was something he had done before, and then just used it as a fill-in for like a dreaded deadline of Doom, and that was all. And it's like it's a shame that his run was so short because it was just so good. And yeah, like I said, to me, that's my surfer. Yeah. It's sad. Years ago, like 5 years ago, I actually did meet Jerry Conway once, several years ago at Emerald City, and he was nice enough. But in the corresponding last few years, some of the things that I've seen him say online to fans of comics, fans of manga, fans of just about anything, it really soured me on wanting to see Jerry Conway again. And it's another way. It's a shame because I loved his Spectacular Spider-Man run. That was him and Dave Michelini. They were the Spider-Man writers when I was heaviest into Spider-Man, and so and he's legendary. I mean, he wrote the Death of Green Goblin and Gwen Stacy. I mean, it's it's comic history. And I just characters he's helped co-created the Punisher, co-created Power Girl, and all this great stuff. And he just now in his twilight years, he's just going to piss all over all of that, but to be, a political and, social justice hack. I mean, why? Why would you build up that legacy and then just destroy it at the very end? I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, he can feel how he wants about any topic he wants. I mean, it's just his right. But why you would then, assault the public who has, made you, like I said, within your own little fiefdom there, a legend? Why you do that? I don't know. Why would you attack the people that paid the bills? Why would you attack the people that made you, a notable name of any kind? Why would you do that? I don't know. Yeah, and in the end, for what? I mean, I don't see what you gain from it. I mean, because like for example, I know he was one of those who was all screaming at everyone, "You need to get jabbed, or you're killing grandma." And now in the interim, since then, and what's come out about some of that stuff we learned about the jab, that the dangers, the side effects, that it wasn't as effective and safe as they said. How does he look now? You were pushing this on people, calling for people to be ostracized from society if they didn't agree with you politically on this. And how does that look now? That's why I would say never, there's a reason people say things like never discuss politics and religion. There's a reason they say that. And this is one of those reasons why, is because it just spoils all these other things that, you're a part of. Yeah, I've met Larson too, And again, at the time, back in like 2002, he seemed like just a normal guy. And since then, I mean, again, just something's broken in his brain. And, and it's even translated into his work. I mean, where he's drawing porn comics now. I mean, it's Savage Dragon. I mean, it was always a little violent and stuff. Even back in the glory days of Image, he was, it had some bloodiness to it. Have lots of action. But, that's neither here nor there. That's in comics, superhero comics in general. But now he's like going the porn route. I'm just like, why? What? Who is this for? Who's wanting to see Savage Dragon getting it on with women? Just yeah, it's sad that these guys go down that road, and it leads nowhere good. And they've drugged the entire industry with them. As I said, that's why when you guys were talking about the dollar boxes and 50-cent boxes, I had to ask, what's in there? Is it good stuff from like 70s, 80s, even 90s, or is it like this modern crap that nobody's buying, and that's why they're selling it for 50 cents and $1 because they can't get anyone to buy it for anything more, And I don't know. Why they do that? Just it's never made any sense to me. If I had a legacy like that, I'd do all I could to protect it. See again, and here's the thing: is what does it add? What does it add to the character? What does this Asian Harley? What's she going to have that makes her so cool that the classic Harley that we knew from the original animated series didn't have? What's going to make it better? Is there anything to it? Are we going to see something like that and go, whoa, that's awesome that they made her Asian because now it's XYZ? I mean, I don't see anything, And again, that's just with any characters, Let's turn this one black. Let's turn this one gay. Why? For what? It's not going to improve the character. Yeah, yeah. Again, I've talked about that. It's just you go into some shops and you just see inches deep stacks on the shelf of new comics, the latest issue, and it's like when that's happening, that's not a good sign. Go to sleep, dear. It's fine. Yeah, as if anybody cares. As if anybody cares. I mean, that's the thing is like, the narcissism of it all is, I think, what gets me the most. I mean, if you're going to be, big-headed be big-headed about creating great works. You know, I'm the guy that wrote The Death of Gwen Stacy and the Green Goblin. That's something to be big-headed about and have a narcissistic attitude about. I co-created The Punisher. That's something to have a big head about. Saying, "Oh, I say you should get the jab, and I say that manga should be monitored so that we get out all the sexiness." I mean, no, who cares? No one cares about that stuff. No one cares about your narratives. Yeah, you know, it just, I don't know. I wish there was an easy answer to this stuff, but there isn't. I mean, not in still having freedom, of course. I mean, you know, if you want to become the very fascist they always want to call you, well, then yeah, that would be easy to solve then. But I don't think that's the route we would want to go with that. So I don't suggest that's where we go. There you go. See, that's perfect. And now I haven't been reading the modern stuff, but I've heard of Punchline, and she supposedly is an Asian character too, right? So there you go. You get your Asian Harley Quinn, and it's a character that exists in the books, and now you're tying the books in with the show, and maybe, who knows, you might get people who want to pick up the book now and say, hey, I want to see some more about Punchline. Let me go buy some of those back issues. There you go. I mean, just so simple. And you're not trashing the character of Harley Quinn to do it. You're helping build up a new character for the interest, you know, and it's just a win-win. So I just don't understand, you know, instead of doing that, it's like, no, let's just trash the original character and, you know, turn off the fans of that character by altering her in ways that make no sense and don't add anything of value. And then when they complain about it, just call them a bunch of bigots and drive them away. Good call. Good call, guys. Yeah, I remember that book. In fact, that's how they brought back Amazing Fantasies, because she was in that book. They brought it back with was like the 16 through 18, and then they brought it back as Amazing Fantasy with her in it. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that book in the 90s. And yeah, again, as someone who was working in a shop at the time, I can tell you, yeah, that book did not sell very well. I mean, we sold a couple copies, you know, but yeah, it wasn't no big seller. If it was a choice between Spider-Man or La Aranya, it's people are going to pick Spider-Man. You know, Peter Parker. That's just. But I think that's part of the problem is these people who are doing this stuff, you know, they don't know how to create anything. You know, they just want to work off of what already exists and alter it to fit what they want to do. And even if that's not what the character is about, even that breaks the lore, breaks the history, breaks the iconic status, you know, breaks the whole modus operandi of the character. None of that seems to matter to them. It's like, it doesn't matter. You know, it's to me, it's what I call the worst aspects of storytelling. A good storyteller tailors their story to fit the character they're using. You know, Bill Mantlo was really great at this. You know, I've heard it said many times that Bill Mantlo had the ability to get any character's voice just right. When he's writing Spider-Man, he sounds like the Spider-Man everybody knows. When he's writing the Hulk, it sounds like the Hulk everybody knows. You know, it's not feeling like this is some different character that's like, you know, just in a Hulk skin or a Spider-Man skin. And that's what Bill Mantlo did, and it's why he was so successful for so long. And you know, that's the right way to do it. But the way these guys do it is they tailor the characters to fit their stories. I want to tell this type of a story, so I'm going to change Spider-Man or the Hulk or whoever to fit that. You know, because as you know, Blackjack pointed out here, when they try to do it with an original character, that would be the better way to go in the long run. Because if you're going to do something like that, create something new that you can just do whatever you want with, because it doesn't have any standards, it doesn't have any, you know, preset, you know, history, you know, it doesn't have expectations on it because, well, this is something new. You know, this isn't like Spider-Man where everybody has this expectation of this is what Spider-Man is, and so this is what we're expecting, and then you pull the rug out from under us and do something completely asinine. No, this is a whole new character. I can do whatever I want, and that's great. But the problem is they see is that what they want to do isn't something that people want to read. And you know, as Leg Kick put so well right here, there it is. They want to push a narrative, and if no one's reading, well, no one's going to hear the narrative, then, are they? You know, you're out there in the woods screaming and nobody to hear you. And so that's why they don't use new characters. That's why they take established characters and alter them now, because that's how they get. You know, they don't see the characters as intrinsically valued in their own right. Like, this character has weight because of what it is, because of what it has meant to people, because of the history and the canon and the lore. None of that matters. These characters are just platforms. They're platforms for what I want to say, for what I want to push, the agenda I want to put out there. And if that breaks the character, I don't care. And that's where they are. That's what these people do, and that's what they've been doing for a while now. You know, and despite, you know, Dan the Slot's claim about, you know, oh, these characters have been around 50, 60, 70 years, you can't break them. Yes, you can. You can break them to a point that they can't come back. Now, are we at that point yet? I don't know. Maybe. But even if we're not, we're getting there pretty damn quick. No one seems to be wanting to slow down on the gas on that. So if we're not there yet, we're going to be there soon anyway. And, you know, yes, you can break a character, and then people don't care anymore. And then what do you do? Because, again, it goes back to the old line. You know, people say, you know, the opposite of love isn't hate. It's apathy. Because whether you love or hate something, you still have feeling for it. You know, I love it, and that's why I have all this passion for it. Or I hate what they've done, and because I did love the character, I still have passion there. But when you're apathetic, it's like, meh. Yeah, he is. You know, but just like Jim Lee, I think he's just biding time, just trying to cash in on as much as he can do. You know, he doesn't care. I mean, I just saw a story recently where he had mentioned how, you know, he doesn't think that Marvel's continuity matters at all. It's like, I'm sorry, what? The whole company that was based on interconnectedness of the characters in the real world, the world outside your window, all the continuity that goes with that, that doesn't matter? Then what you're saying is none of it matters. And if none of it matters, then why should anyone buy it? I mean, that's just talking yourself out of a job. Well, I mean, he's just not leadership material. It's just that simple. I mean, you know, I don't want to say whether he's a piece of trash, you know, as a human being, because I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen him out there attacking people like, say, like how Brevoort and Slot have. They've actually attacked people, you know, online and stuff. So I haven't seen that from Cebulski. So I'm hesitant to say piece of trash, but he's certainly no leader of men. He's certainly nobody who's steering a ship. You know, he's just there again, just like Brevoort, just marking time. I'm just here marking time until I can retire. I'm just here marking time to get that paycheck, and then if this all blows up tomorrow, well, I'll just take the money and run. It's very sad. It's very sad that that's where it went. That's why I'm glad we have other options today. You know, with crowdfunding and others out there trying to create stuff, you know, for us to enjoy. You know, even some of these other guys don't necessarily make the greatest work, I can look at it, I can still see in it that, you know, they're trying. They actually are putting in effort. They want this to be good. They're not out there just throwing out slop the way the big guys are nowadays. They're actually at least trying to put some effort into it. They want you to like it. And, you know, if nothing else, I appreciate that much, because that shows at least some consideration to the people who are paying the bills, which is more than you get from the mainstream today. They don't even care if you do that or not. Well, I've been at this about an hour and a half. I guess I'll call it good for now. Thank you guys for joining me tonight. I hope you got some fun out of this. You know, if you're watching this in reruns, I hope you still enjoy it. Got the links down there below, so you can check out some of the new stuff I've been doing around here. My What's in the Box videos, where I unbox something cool that I've purchased, so you can see some new cool stuff. Of course, I got my Why It's Great. I've got that rolling again, even without my good friend Pops, you know, sharing it with me. But until he can get his schedule leveled out, that's just how it's going to have to be. It's going to be me by myself. I just did one of those yesterday, in fact. You know, a very timely one. If you look at what the story was and the character involved, I thought it was pretty much a very timely one to do. So I was glad to do that. And you know, as for what's coming up, like I said, I've got the germinations of an idea for a sequential thinking live stream. I'm still got to do some work on it. Still got to gather up some more info and sources and stuff. Because as you guys know, when I do those, I like to bring the receipts. I don't just tell you what I think and say, just believe me, guys, believe me, bro. No, I got to bring the receipts to show you what I'm talking about, so that you know that I'm not just making it all up. Because I always say to people, don't just believe me. Don't just believe anybody. Go out and find out about stuff. And so I like to bring the receipts to you, so you have some of that info right there on the spot, and you know that I'm not just talking out my better looking end. So I got that coming up, and as for the future, we'll see what happens. I got some ideas for some stuff. We'll see if any of that pans out. And like I said, I'll always have a what's in the box at least once a month, because I always do my discount comic book service order. I'll always unbox those for you guys. So if I don't have anything else, I'll have that, and I'll definitely have another Why It's Great sooner than later. Maybe I'll do something from the stuff I picked up from SummerCon. That would be a lot of fun, I think, to have that in there. And as for the future, like I said, we'll just have to see what happens. But yeah, I've been cranking out the content like crazy for like the last couple months. So we'll try to keep that going. And that's part of what this was about. Was, like I said, since it's humid and warm and I can't sleep very well, I might as well get some use out of it and make some content. So hope you guys enjoyed this. Checking out some good old comics and some good laughs. And I want to thank you again for joining me tonight. And be sure to like the stream if you like what you saw here. If you got any comments, something you want to say, maybe something you've seen in here, you're going to make a comment about it, please drop it down there below. I want to hear what you guys got to say. And make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on this great content that I'm stumble bumming my way through. So I want to thank you all for joining me tonight, and I will see you again soon. And until next time, take care.